on a couple, I've used the same question on a couple of different pages where I've been talking with either spiritists, I'm not even sure if that's a word, I mean people who believe that there's a spirit. So dualist, I think, would be a proper name. And not all dualists are theists, which is an interesting thing in itself. Some of the essentialists could be non-theists. Anyways, I digress. My point. People who present the idea that there could be a human soul to me, my response on several occasions has been to bring up the phenomena of split brain patients. A split brain, this phenomena that happens when they have to split the hemispheres. If you looked at a brain illustration, it kind of looks like a walnut, and like a walnut, it's split into hemispheres. And in the 1960s, I think it was Philip Vogel, he had a patient that had severe epilepsy, wasn't responding to medication, and so being aware of a researcher named Roger Sperry, who did experiments on monkeys where he severed the corpus callosum, which is this sort of bridge between the hemispheres that exchanges information between the two hemispheres. And he noted that they seemed to be okay after having this procedure done. So Vogel took the made the pioneering first attempt at this, and he was able to ameliorate the problem with the patient's epilepsy, but some peculiar things happened. He and Sperry got together to look carefully at these patients and noted that there was a strange phenomenon happening. That is, if they had the person look dead straight ahead and only showed them some visual stimuli on either the left or the right. Now, maybe you don't know about the neural anatomy, but if you have something in your visual left side, it is processed on the right side of your brain. Likewise, symmetrically, if something's on the right side, it is going to be processed on the left hemisphere. And if the patient looks straight ahead, what the left side saw on the split brain patient would be attenuated by the right hemisphere, and likewise on the right visual field, the left hemisphere. And the peculiar thing was that if something was shown to the left side and the patient was asked, they couldn't tell what had been seen there. Why? Because our language functions typically are on the left side. However, if asked to point, the person could point with their left hand, which is controlled by the right hemisphere. So there seemed to be two separate consciousness. A really interesting thing would be if we could, it's kind of a Frankenstein idea, but if you took someone who had language functions on both sides, both hemispheres, that happens. It's usually on the left, but once in a while you get someone who has symmetrical language areas in both the right and left. So it's conceivable that if you severed their corpus callosum, you could talk to two different conscious entities in the same body. And if you really got sci-fi about it, if you developed cloned bodies and took one hemisphere and put it in one and left the other behind, would you have two people? How would you reconcile that with dualism? That's my question for today. I'd really love to hear something like that. I know I did take a quick look at some of the different sorts of dualism, and some of them really, quite notably, have come into being post Sperry and Vogel and other researchers' findings. So they're responding to this, but I haven't seen anything that really addresses it. The people that I've brought this to their attention, they kind of, backed away. One of them sent me to an article on one of the creationist apologetic sites that was just danced around the question, doesn't seem to really address it. So I'm really curious, if you're a dualist, how do you address that? How do you reconcile that? Anyways, that's my thoughts for the day. 72 Day Star, out.